and I met a large, group of, company owners and that are in this certain network. And one of them was a commercial roofing contractor. And so my story is I was already working as a coach and a teacher. And then I worked at a concrete restoration company, and they're like, yeah, you'll be in sales. And I'm like, wearing my tie.
What's up, everyone? Justin Ledford here, owner of Real Construction Owners Podcast, where we interview real construction owners and service providers who are helping us transform our industry. Today, we have a special guest, Ryan Groth, the owner of Sales Transformation Group. How you doing today, Ryan?
I'm great, Justin. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm truly blessed. I'm highly favored, and you're in Hawaii. So how is that, dude?
Oh, it's amazing. It's been a great 2.5 years now out here, and we moved from South Florida, which is beautiful, but it's like a metropolitan on the ocean, and we're able to be in mountains and hike and surf, and a little bit more rural where we are. It's really slow paced. Love it. Our kids love it. My wife loves it, and we got a beautiful view every morning. When I'm here, which is a blessing for sure.
Amen, man. That's cool. Well, I'm going to Costa Rica on Monday, going to get some surfing in, some meditation, some yoga. So we're parallel on that regard. Okay. Now, talk to our owners, they're construction owners who are looking to grow their business. But before we dive into that, tell us your story. Go down memory lane, walk us through before you got into this industry. What were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, unlike very common to everybody, a lot of people dealt with, split homes. So my parents divorced early in my childhood, and I got my mom remarried, started a construction business, and I was watching them do that and worked with them in the summers. And I was like, wow, they're making money. My dad wasn't wealthy by any means, as I was living in his household, and so I always saw the construction industry and saw the potential, and I started to envision myself potentially in my future in the industry. And but I was also pretty motivated to be an athlete, so I played collegiately and professional baseball. And it's kind of one of those things, you got to take your shot while you're young, and you don't want to live with any regrets. So I pushed and took it as far as I could. Had very few regrets in my playing career. But as I got to that level, I saw my parents have some rises, and then I saw them fail and fall. So I was deeply motivated and impacted to like do something right. If I was going to grow up, I want to be successful. I envision myself being successful, financially and with my family. And so I was deeply motivated to change my personal life to be successful. And instead of, repeating what I saw, I just tried to learn from it with my parents. And I learned from the bad and the good. And so what I saw from the next stage of my life was I started networking with successful people in South Florida at the time, as I just got married and started my family. And I met a large, a group of, company owners and that are in this certain network. And one of them was a commercial roofing contractor. And so my story is I was already working as a coach and a teacher. And then I worked at a concrete restoration company, and they're like, yeah, you'll be in sales. And I'm like, wearing my tie literally in a button down with $1 million mom and pop concrete restoration company, thinking I might actually be a professional salesperson. And they had no training, no system, no tracking. And then they're like, hey, you should probably be an assistant project manager. And then, if you're going to know how this works, and if you're to sell it, then, you need to learn how to actually do it. And I'm like, so now I'm in the field making like $17 an hour, like, trying to figure out what's next, because baseball I didn't make it in the big leagues. I got a college degree and I'm married and I'm trying to figure it out. And I was like, this, I'm going to get after a real sales job. But then what was cool was that this roofing contractor built a CRM for himself to track and manage his sales. And after the recession, his story was that he was a big new construction guy. And what happened was the recession hit and all the new construction dried up. And so his business was drying up, and he got sales consulting help and training help. And what he walked away with starting in 2010 was that I'm no longer going to rely on new construction. I'm going to be a sales organization that happens to do commercial roofing and go after relationships in the private sector through service and restoring and replacing, commercial properties. So his story inspired me because he built a sales system out of that, got outside sales training. And then I was looking around, I'm like, if I'm going to sell this software, I'm not going to sell it to, massive corporations. This isn't like a venture backed, like super high level piece of software. It's a good software, but I'm going to sell it to roofers who want to be like this guy when they grow up, because this guy's legit, right? So I started selling a sales system and a tracking program to roofing contractors. And then very quickly did I realize they needed more than just the CRM to grow their business. And then what I witnessed was culture, marketing, sales process, sales training, leadership, comp plans, like everything that would help a sales organization thrive. I was like, this industry needs it. So I started to say, well, I'm going to wear the sales expert hat. And as a former professional athlete who knows how to be a high performer and lead teams, I'm going to bring that energy to owners and their organizations and help give them the best practices that are proven with my mentor here before me and what to do. So I started using that company as like a laboratory. I had companies all over the country coming in, looking at sales meetings, implementing the system. And I realized, man, this is a lot of fun. So at some point, that roofing contractor and we had a great relationship. We kind of parted ways because I just grew so much. And I think he saw, the upside for me, and he's invested in me, and I was grateful for that. And so I decided I'm going to, continue this whole path of transforming this industry through sales development. So I was like, let's just call the company Sales Transformation Group. So I started this company back in 2018, and I've been able to make this all I do. And man, it is like gone through the moon in terms of, what we've been able to build to make the kind of impact that's possible. And since then, we've been seeing, companies of all trades, implement systems to ramp up and trade and transform their sales force and attract high performing talent so that they can have great representation to go out there and win work, have a predictable revenue machine, and ultimately level up and change their life, whether they want to grow their business more, have more freedom. It's a lot of fun. It's just kind of leveling up the owners and the leaders and what they're capable of creating with our help in this industry.
That's awesome, man. That's a lot to unpack. But I've seen your success. I've heard some case studies. And for owners who haven't heard a case study, or they like your energy, but they're like, okay, well, what kind of results has this guy got for construction companies? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, they vary. We've worked with over 600 companies now and over the last 4.5 years at different levels. One example would be like, hey, I have a salesperson, they've been struggling to, close commercial business, right? And, or they're having to rely on our bread and butter residential, but we want to break into commercial and sell bigger jobs, for example. We just don't know how to do it, or we don't want to, lose our butts. So, we got somebody who was $1 million a year guy. And then within 18 months, they were doing 7.5 million. So that's just one salesperson on their team. That was a huge jump. Another salesperson was doing $1 million a year. Now they're doing 5.5 million a year within 1.5 years or so of implementing. And again, it's training, it's getting the system into their sales process, and you have a sales cycle. But ultimately, the sales cycle is shortening, closing ratio is increasing. A lot of them didn't even measure it. Right now, we're measuring it, and it's increasing. Their gross profit margins, because they're selling more value, is increasing, and their deal size is increasing. So when you think about all those, like just shortening your sales cycle in half, that would crush it in terms of growing your business. But then you increase your margin, and then you increase your closing ratio and your deal size. It just changes pretty fast. So I'd say that, we've had some amazing transformations. I've had a company that was just doing residential door-to-door insurance sales, just focused on their commercial side. And they went from 0 to a $12 million commercial business that's sustainable, profitable over 3 years. That's pretty cool. And then we've also worked closely with residential sales teams too, where somebody's now, the owner was there was a guy in Pittsburgh. The owner was doing all the sales. They were doing a couple of million. So he personally was making a lot of money, right? But he was he was busy. He was in the trap. He was doing way too many things. Now he's
Rat
got a
race.
sales leader, rat race. Now he's got a sales leader. He's a $3.5 million a year producer, mentoring and leading a sales team. And now he's completely out of the business. And just as a CEO, brought in an integrator and just cast vision and helps shape the culture. But he's got so it's like sales changes everything. But what I care about the most, more importantly than the money, is selling in such a way where your sales organization is functioning at a high level of integrity. You're consultative, you're doing the right thing, you care about people. And then I like to see the lives of the people I work with change, where they are building a culture of growth, both personally and professionally, and their mindset's renewing, they're leveling up, they're having more time with their family. A big part of what we're all about is infusing that, wholesome core value culture into the sales organization, because I don't think sales is a bad word. I think if you're a salesperson, you're a leader. You're leading people into solving problems or fulfilling desires. I'm a leader of leaders. I'm leading people to help them better lead people, to better help lead people into making decisions and commitments to doing things the right way the first time. And so I feel very good about what I do. It's a lot of fun. But the reason why is because the people we work with, in addition to their business results, are leveling up their culture, and they're actually attracting a 25-year-old Ryan. Like I like to say, it's like you want to be able to build a culture where the 25-year-old Ryan meets you and they're not like, this is a transition job. They're like, no, this is legit. Like I could buy a home. I could see myself like working here, leading here, growing with you. I like what you're doing here. I like who you are, and I like the potential. I want to work here. That's what I want to see, because too much in the industry, whether it's lack of professionalism, bad character, bad, personal life choices, or just bad vision on the career path. I want to see all those boxes checked, right? The leader's legit. They look up to that leader. They like who they are, what they represent personally. There's a clear path to help them grow. Because let's face it, the 25-year-old Justin or Ryan doesn't want to be in the field per se. They want to be talking with people, using skills of relationship building and being able to make money and do hard things that, is a different skill set than swinging a hammer. I want to help companies, and that's what we're doing, is we're helping these companies create an environment where there's a white collar path for success for young, budding, people who are entering the workforce. And so that's what gets me fired up.
Bro, I can tell you have a passion, and you have a light beaming from you, because real attracts real. What you're saying is legit. Now, I'm curious about you as a person, because you mentioned vision, and as far as visualization goes, what's your topic? What's your belief on that? Obviously, you're a man of faith, but do you practice any sort of meditation or visualization?
No, I don't. I mean, we write down goals and we write visions, in terms of like, I like to journal. It's probably my favorite thing to do is journal. Yeah, and I just try to, through that type of practice, or prayer, whatever, you name it, just kind of put that together. I've also, personally tried to learn to hold visions loosely, because I think either they could be too small or they're not quite exactly, what the man upstairs has in store for us. And I'm adding some governing language to my podcast guesting here, because I can go really deep and really specific in how I describe all this. But yeah, I like to, I really like to share with close people too in my life about what I'm thinking and feeling and what's the future could hold. But I also hold it loosely because I think living within the tension of like mystery, because I don't know everything that's the future holds, but also what's certain, and kind of being in this like healthy balance of trust that it's going to be a great future, but also doing everything in my power today to make that happen. So that way I can give the credit to others that are due, not just take on the credit myself of being this, genius visionary. Like, I don't really think that's the kind of character people want to be a part of. And if they want to be a part of something, they feel that they are a part of. So whether it's, those close to me or my teammates, You know, that's, I like to write things down. The journaling's big for me. My wife actually just did a vision board. We did
Those are
some
fun.
goal setting, but yeah, meditating, it's hard for me to do. I struggle with that. I struggle to keep quiet for more than 30 seconds, in meditation, but I personally like to worship, and exercise, and that kind of clears my head and gets me in a place of not quite action mode, but just, dreaming and having vision and getting ideas.
That's absolutely important. I do this practice myself where I visualize and meditate, and I also have the dream board, and I'm a believer of it. I mean, a man without vision, they say from old scripture, will perish. So we got to know what we want. We have to go after it, and we have to cast the vision, and always have an opportunity to share the vision with our team. Now, as far as you, because you're a business owner, and business owners are listening, they want to know strategies. They want to know processes. So let's dive into that a little bit. What's an investment that you've made? It can be in real estate, in yourself, in crypto, that you made and it surprised you.
I've always been laser focused. I try to drown out like too many distractions. I'm not a million plate spinning kind of guy. I got like three buckets. I got, faith, my family, and my business. Those are the three things I'm doing. Like, so I kind of, maybe to a fault, just like close the door on too many outside investments. Real estate has been a key thing just for us. And we've always, just the way we strategize with real estate is buy a home and always invest into it, because we want it to be a home we want to live in. And then typically we sold that, like we bought in Maui, put about 60 grand into it, and then we ended up getting $500,000 more within 11 months than we bought it for when we sold it. I was like, wow, that was awesome. And so we bought another home that's bigger. It's a little bit more space that we love. We want it to be our forever home, unless I continue to just, make me even more money, then you have more options. But yeah, we love this place. It's beautiful. I'd say investing in relationships and knowledge transfer has been big. Like anytime I'm around a room of people that I know are more successful than me in some area of life, whether it's ministry or, business or family or something like that. And I just hear their story and I hear them talk, or I just see them in action. And this isn't because I'm arrogant, but I think I learned kinetically. So like what I found fast is like, oh, they're doing that. Like I can do that. And it's not because I have this like narcissistic self-belief that's just through the roof. It's just, I feel like there's almost like a permission granted whenever somebody else is having some kind of experience. And that gives me confidence, and maybe their energy, I feel their energy and I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, so anytime I'm around people, that usually is always the biggest investment. So getting out, and meeting people, or going to a mastermind or a conference, doing a little research, that's always been my favorite way of investing into myself. And it costs money. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, diving into that a little bit more, when you're going and you're networking and you have a mission to connect with a certain amount of people, what are your tactics to breaking the ice? Like, how do you make somebody like you and trust you quickly?
Yeah, I think it's something we teach in our sales training, but communication is really powerful. Like 55% of communication is nonverbal, right? So you're already communicating with me, and I'm with you, especially if you're listening or watching this, just with my body language right now, right? Am I standing up? How do I look? Am I taking care of myself? Am I focused? Am I not? Like all that's already communicating a message. And then, so I've always especially when I'm in person, and this is bad, but like I love going to Nordstrom right before I got to go to a big conference, and I just work with somebody and say, I just want to feel good. Because if I feel good and I feel like I look good, then it's like in sports, we talk about, hey, you look good, you feel good, you play good. So you got to feel good in your own skin. If I have, my haircut's bad, like I'm already carrying this, I don't like the way my hair feels right now. And then I'm carrying that into how I meet somebody. So I think we got to take the time to make sure we feel and look really good in our own eyes. And I think that's a key thing, is how do you view yourself? Are you super self-conscious or secure or not? Like whatever. I think it's really important to feel and look really good in your own skin. However you present yourself, you got to feel good and look good. And then that gives other people permission to do the same about and feel that way about you. So I think that's the case. Is just like before you even do anything, how do you feel? Do you feel great? Do you feel good? And so taking care of your body, health, like whenever I have, several weeks in a row working out, I'm typically feeling amazing. And people notice that I look and feel amazing. And I don't have to say anything. That lowers resistance there automatically because there's a natural attraction and people want to connect already without you having to say anything. Because if I do what I like to do, which is make sure I have good clothing, have a nice haircut, get enough sun, feel good, work out, spend time with God, hitting my goals, my relationships with my wife and my spouse are healthy, all those things, I'm going to go into a room and no matter what, I'm already going to stick out because I'm just doing more that I need to do already, checking those boxes. So already it's clear that I'm doing something different than everybody else, which is easy because most people live relatively undisciplined lives. Then
it's unfortunate because so many men, they're just business, money, buy the cool stuff. But we as men, we have to be leaders of our family. We have to take care of not business, kids, wife. It needs to be wife, kids, business. Whenever we turn it around like that and we focus on that as our priority, and obviously God is first, then life has the potential to thrive. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah, people feel that, right? So then all that's already happening. And then I go up and I extend a hand and shake the hand and smile and connect with them. So hey, Justin, great to meet you. So what brings you here? Where are you from? And just typically people like to talk about themselves. So if you can spend time connecting and genuinely show interest in who they are, then that just does a lot. And I think that what I like to do is if you actually ask questions that are stacked upon the answer of the question, it wasn't a formulaic conversation where it's, hey, how you doing? You go to a grocery store, you check out, you're like, how you doing? Good. How are you? Fine. And you? It's just very formulaic, right? But when you interrupt that and go deeper, it starts to kind of create a more creative, memorable conversation. And so I'm a sales trainer. We teach how to ask questions. So a lot of times our personal friendships end up going really deep, really fast. And then it's like, wait a second, hold on. Like, is this what we want to do? It's like, well, yeah, let's talk about something that matters, But yeah, we can get really far whenever you care, think about the other person. So you already look and feel amazing. And then that person who looks and feels amazing is focusing on that person and caring about that person. There's already a lot that's already opened up right there, just with the genuine care for others.
Love it. I love it, man. This has been a blast. If somebody wants training, if they want to grow their business, if a contractor's listening and they feel like, man, I need to have a discovery call, or I want to connect with Ryan and what he's doing, what are you offering and how can somebody reach out to you? I know you mentioned you have a conference coming up. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. If you want to look at working with us, we just go to salestransformationgroup.com. We have a few different products, but if you just want to generally just inquire, connect, and jump on a discovery call, we have account executives that are here to ask questions and connect and find out how we can help and speak with you. So yeah, check that out. You can also find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Those are platforms I'm relatively active on. And then as far as our conference, we have a conference coming up October 5th through 8th in Dallas, Texas at the Four Seasons, which is we never leveled up this much on the venue. And this is going to be a nice one. We have a lot of growth-minded contractors that are going to be speaking that I trust and respect who they are as people and their businesses and their success. They'll be speaking. The quality of contractor that's speaking and attending is going to be very high level, very professional, very full of integrity. I'm really looking forward to this. The environment that we shape and will be shaped with our friends and partners is going to be life-changing. So thetransformconference.com is the URL, and we can get you guys a special code so that you can get 10% off tickets if you like. We have general admission and then platinum, which includes a hotel room. We're not promising any VIP dinners, and all those things are always hard to manage. So it's not going to be a massive conference. It won't be like a trade show where it'll be a million people there. There should be, a couple hundred people there. So you should, be able to navigate the room and meet the people that you want to meet pretty easily over the course of the days.
This has been a lot of fun, Ryan. And if you're listening, you're a contractor and you want to grow your business, you need to surround yourself with like-minded owners. You need to surround yourself with people who are crushing it in their field. And that's one thing that's helped me become a 7 to 8 figure businessman myself. So bottom line, Ryan, this has been fun. We'll make sure to get that link for our listeners. And I hope to see you soon at one of the next events, brother.
Thanks,
Peace.
Justin. Appreciate you.
Take care.